There's no shortage of digital streamers out there promising high res audio, slick apps, and multi room control. But what if your budget stops cold at $100? That usually means compromise, clunky interfaces, limited features, or fatiguing sound that just doesn't invite long listening sessions. But then I stumbled upon this Relic LP10. On paper, it's packed with features: Wi Fi, Bluetooth, Google Cast, even a physical remote, something even the popular Veeam Mini doesn't include. But specs and AI generated pictures on websites only tell part of the story. What actually happens when you put it into a real stereo system? Is this a hidden gem for budget minded listeners or just another disposable black box? Let's find out. So, I spent some time with the LP10 in a system driving a modest Riga Brio integrated amp and a pair of Acoustic Energy AE100 Mark II speakers. Later, into modest external DACs, namely the Peachtree iDAC and the Peachtree DAC-It, via the optical out. The goal here wasn't to just see if it worked, but whether it could disappear into the music or at least get out of the way. Physically, the LP10 is understated. A compact black box with rounded edges, with touch buttons on top for controlling play, stop, volume, simple LED up front, connects easily over Wi Fi or Ethernet. And once you're inside the Go Control app, setup is pretty straightforward. You can name the device, group it with other Relic products, and stream from services like Spotify, Tidal, or your local server. The inclusion of Google Cast immediately sets it apart from some budget rivals. That means you can cast directly from any cast enabled app. No need to open the Relic app if you don't want to. Combine that with AirPlay, Bluetooth, and DLNA, and it becomes a flexible source. Also, welcome is this remote, which allows you to control volume, playback, input selection, and a lot more without reaching for your phone. A major usability bonus for anyone building a casual listening rig or a background music system. Now, let's talk about what really matters: how it sounds. Straight out of the analog output into an integrated amp like the Brio, the LP10 presents a sound that might catch some listeners off guard, not because of how bold or detailed it is, but just because of what it isn't. This is not a streamer that tries to impress with hyper resolution or sparkling treble. There is no artificial edge to give the illusion of clarity. Instead, it leans into a soft, relaxed, and easy character, the kind of sound that doesn't immediately jump out at you but slowly makes you feel at ease. Mid range textures are rounded, vocals sit comfortably in the mix, and the top end is deliberately gentle. It's the kind of presentation that favors long term listening over short term excitement. There is okay levels of detail. You won't find etched detail or vast stereo depth, but also avoids the glare and harshness that plagues many inexpensive streamers. Dynamics are somewhat restrained, transients are softened, which means drums, plucked strings, or piano, they don't snap and explode into the mix. That also means that the streamer is forgiving of compressed recordings and poor masters, which can be a blessing in many real world budget systems. Thankfully, the LP12 offers a digital optical output, which opens the door to external DACs. In this configuration, using a good standalone DAC, the streamer becomes far more capable. The treble opens up, bass gains grip, spatial information improves without sacrificing the gentle musical core of its signature. This, in my opinion, makes it a very decent streaming transport for anyone who already owns or plans to own a separate DAC. Now, in the sub $100 range, I've also spent time with the Andover Songbird, which sits in a similar bracket and targets the same audience. It too offers analog and digital outputs, AirPlay, DLNA, and Bluetooth. Sonically, the two are more similar than different. Both emphasize musical flow over forensic detail, and both have a smooth top end that makes them ideal for casual listening. But I think this wins on usability. The inclusion of Google Cast means it's compatible with a wider range of modern apps, dual band Wi Fi versus the single 2.4 gigahertz on the Andover, and the included remote control makes it easier to live with, particularly in setups where you don't want to use your phone every time you want to pause, skip, or adjust volume. So, where does that leave the Relic LP10? If you judge it on absolute resolution, pinpoint imaging, or raw dynamics, it might seem modest. But if your goals include musicality, simplicity, and comfort, this is a device that delivers as expected for the price. Used on its own, it's ideal for background listening, second room system, or pairing with vintage gear. Add an external DAC and it becomes a flexible front end for slightly more ambitious setups. Now, if this review got you thinking about putting together a budget stereo system, you're in the right place. I've reviewed some incredible, affordable amps, speakers, and analog gear here on the screen that work beautifully with streamers like the LP10. Whether you're starting from scratch or upgrading on a budget, click the playlist now and take that next step into building a system that sounds great without emptying your wallet.